Welcome, all you beautiful thinking people, you to Advocation X Trumpette. Remember, everything in these videos is opinion, but it's opinion based on facts and not the alternative fact type either. These videos are all for entertainment purposes. Before we begin, please hit the like button, subscribe, become a member, crush that bell, don't miss anything going forward. We have lots coming in the future. So the topics I'd like to discuss here today include influence and direction, Republican Party racist groups, your deepest advice, and Trump's impending doom. I think it's time for us to dive in the deep end right now. Does Trumpette have influence over the Republican Party still? In my opinion, that would be a yes, and that's an informed opinion. It seems that they are still afraid of the base. They're afraid to be on the receiving end of a January 6th event. So the Republican Party seems to, for the most part, jump behind Trumpette. What are the reasons for that? Well, he can't tweet anymore, so I don't understand why they're afraid of a tweet. He doesn't have his own TV news program yet. I mean, he still has Fox News and all those other guys who will basically, do his bidding, lick his boots, all that good stuff. But he doesn't have anything of his own that he can actually draw on in order to influence their real life circumstances. But they're afraid of that base because power is everything to these guys. But the problem with these guys is they're not like us beautiful thinking people. They don't have an open mind. So they have one track minds, and those minds are leading them down a garden path, and there's no vegetables at the end. What is going to be the direction of the Republican Party going forward? Are they going to be these fiscally responsible individuals, as they've shown they have not been for the past long while? They continually drive up the deficits by reducing the tax revenues coming in and increasing the expenditures going out to big corporations and their crony donator. Now, this is my opinion, of course, but I believe that the Republican Party is going to become a split party. I believe that a lot of real Republicans are going to either head off to the libertarian side of things and try to bring the libertarians around to a little more palatable stance, or they just might split in two. And the Republican Party may remain the Republican Party, and the Trumpette Party may be called the Trumpette Party. Who knows? If I was going to show you a group of racist people, what would you expect to see? What would they look like? What would they talk like? How would they act? What would their demeanor be? Their disposition? Their employment status? Look at all of those things and try to tell me your opinion on what this racist group would look like. And I'll give you a minute. Have you figured it out yet? Good, because you are beautiful, thinking people, and you're able to see clearly. Or when your eyes are clouded, you're able to look beyond the cloud with your open mind and come up with new conclusions as well. So I trust your judgment that the racist group of people that you're looking at in your mind's eye probably somewhat matches mine. So what would it look like if you had a racist political party going out there vying for votes? What would you see? What kind of a world do you envision that would encompass that type of a scenario? And again, I'll give you a moment. Oh, you're good. You guys are good. You're quick. Which part of the Republican Party do you believe is going to become somewhat like that group or party you've already envisioned? Can you put some names in that bucket and keep putting them in until you've exhausted all of those who exhibit no signs of being like that group or political party that you've envisioned, and see what's left? And let's try to envision where they go from there. In my vision, the portion of the Republican Party that does not fit in that bucket can successfully launch a new perspective, a new direction, a new group of followers that would include people from all over in all different buckets, let's say. The one bucket that will never go their way is the trumpet bucket, because they're hardcore. They are outward, they are convinced, they are brainwashed, they have a closed mind attitude, and there's nothing that will change their thought process or mind. Because that's what happens when you produce yourself a bunch of lemmings. They will follow you off the cliff rather than change their opinion in any way, shape, or form that might save them from dying and give them a pretty decent future as well. No, they'll vote against that. They vote against their own interest over and over and over again. Don't even try to get them. As we know, Trumpette has many, many legal problems that are mounting every day. All of his cronies are starting to face scrutiny deeper and deeper than they ever have in the past. And that means they may start falling like dominoes. And the last domino to drop is not going to be Trumpette. He's going to be following in mid-pack. But there's going to be some big dominoes that are going to fall in the midst of this new excursion into the truth and the re-establishing of democracy. I just pray and hope that the newfound democracy that emerges south of the border, and then hopefully gets us up here too, because our democracy here seems to be waning, will hopefully be a true democracy, and not one that is tainted by power-hungry individuals who just cannot see themselves without that power. So while those troubles mount, civilly, criminally, and every way in between, I do feel a little bit sorry for people's children who are hooked into things like this when they almost had no total choice. They did have choice, but it's very difficult in that situation. So I do have a little bit of empathy for them, but they're long since past the point where empathy really matters, because they became adults on their own respect and could have easily looked at what they saw and said, you know what, I'm sorry, Pops, but we're going the other way because this is not right. But they didn't. They followed along of their own accord after that. So, not a whole lot of sympathy going on there. The cronies, no sympathy at all for those individuals who are going to get swept up in this huge net. Oh, I can't wait till the stuff starts coming out from Epstein's ex-girlfriend or associate or cohort or whatever you want to call her, Maxine. I can't wait to see the information that drops there and the amount of people that are shivering and quivering in their boots right now. This could be a good reason why a lot of the Republican Party are staying and standing behind Trumpette. They may be hoping that it's their only hope at escaping consequences for many of their actions, because I cannot find a logical reason why they're doing it, other than they think there's some protection there in sticking with those numbers. We'll see. We shall see. However, for us beautiful thinking people out here, we never give up and we never give in. But we'll always keep our open mind, because that knowledge that we acquire with our open mind is our power. And the only way we're going to reclaim and hang on to that power is to continue to feed that open mind. Do your research. Don't be fooled by garbage, including many, not all, many of those in the mainstream media who don't seem to have a mind of their own, who go along with any script that's thrown in front of them, and they spew it out in such a professional way as if it's truth. Having said that, thank you very much for spending time with us here on this channel. Please do your best to stay safe, stay healthy, and above all, stay as happy as humanly possible.